If you guys remember, a couple memories ago, we talked about the Jeep and how through some horse trading, buffoonery, and a little bit of really good luck, I ended up with an 85 GMC Jimmy. That's about all I told you. Probably time to tell you the rest on this week's Monday Morning Memory from Pugliese Speed Shop. Well, guys, it's pretty obvious that not a whole lot has changed down here since the last video. Actually, nothing's changed down here. And I'm doing some thinking. Megan tells me I need to pull everything out of here and start over. Maybe put a little paint on the walls, change some furniture out. I don't know. I didn't show you behind the bar for a reason because you got a little sneak peek there. But guys, you can't get back there. All right, so you know what? Maybe change a little lighting because we got a whole bunch of these booby lights, and I'm not a big fan of, well, the lights. But you know what? Maybe we should get back on track. We're going to go over to my book here, and we showed you this guy, and this is what we're talking about right now. 1985 GMC Jimmy. Had the Navy plate on the front because, you know, I was already in the delayed entry program when I got her. And, yeah, that was a good little Jeep. That's not a Jeep, dude. It's an SUV. Anyways, let's go over here. Because if you remember, just the other day we were cruising through this book. And, there's some stuff here. Oh, by the way, my brother reminded me that was actually the third car he wrecked. And if you notice, he's about 7. I don't think he's even that old there. But the Jimmy, or James, when he was, being sophisticated, is also in my dad's book. More than once. If you see right here, in the background there, I believe I was actually away in boot camp at this was taken. But if you notice, right there is a Jeep. And right there behind it is a Mustang. I had to take it out of here to show you guys exactly what's going on there. But that's proof to the story I told before about them kind of sitting off to the side. All right, so in the memory about the Jeep, pretty sure I told you guys that I traded my brother the Jeep for the Jimmy because he liked the Jeep better and he couldn't drive a stick. Well, before I did that, or as I was doing that, I wasn't the best at driving a stick then either. I could get it going, but I wasn't, wasn't proficient, as they say. That's a word, right? Should be. Anyways, so I told my dad I wanted to, do this, and he said, "Okay, let's go make sure you can drive this thing." So we go down to this little recreational area in the development we lived in, and I thought I was doing a great job. I mean, we weren't bucking all over the place. I was taking off nice. I'd install it. It was not good enough. My old man was like, "What do you?" And he got frustrated because he thought I had it all figured out, and I wasn't up to his standards. So he just told me I sucked at it and go home. It's okay. So I went home. And I got us there without stalling, for the record. All right. But I don't know, a week or two later, we were going to school. I said, "Dad, I'm going to take the Jimmy." And he said, "You don't know how to drive that thing." I said, "No, I figured it out. I learned, one of my buddies taught me." He said, "Okay," because he was tired of dealing with me. Okay, he just didn't want to deal with it. So I jump in this thing. And I back out of our driveway, which I did fine. And luckily we're on a hill like this, and I kind of coasted down, so I look professional. I had some problems on some hills on the way. My brother Anthony will definitely attest to that. And we get there. He says to my buddy Steve, "Yo, this dude tried to turn me into a milkshake. You got to teach him how to drive this thing. It's just terrible." So Steve said, "Okay." So we went out for lunch that day. which was 100% authorized with the grades I had, promise you. But we went down to the Kmart parking lot. We drove that thing over there, and we get there. She was like, "All right, take your right foot, stick it on the seat. Don't even touch anything." So I'm like, "All right." Push the clutch in, put it in gear. Makes me let the clutch out. We start creeping. When we hit that friction point, he's like, "All right, push it back in." So I did that. He did that. And it was like some calisthenics guys, like 100 times. He's like, "All right, cool. Are you ready? Now put the gas in as you're doing it." Guys, I drove off like I've been driving this thing for 100 years. No problems. And I never had a problem again. In fact, I used that method to teach Megan how to drive a stick, teach Anthony how to drive a stick, taught Andrew how to drive a stick, all doing the exact same thing. They all learned in like 5 minutes. Flawless. So, Steve, just a great way to teach people. So, I appreciate that. So then I started driving this thing all the time. That's how it became mine. And there was a little bit of work done to it. My old man got it. And it was, they traded in the dealership for like $1,800. I think they gave. It was less than $2,000. I remember that. And it was clean. Super clean. Ran great. No rust, no nothing. But it was the bottom of the line, right? So, rubber flooring, no AC, 2.8 six-cylinder with 5-speed, vinyl seats, nothing. But it was 4-wheel drive, so that was cool. And that was it. So it was all white. It had some white wall tires. It's kind of terrible. My dad, me and him actually did that body side molding down, painted it red, did the wheels red. And we got a little carried away with some pinstriping and the 4x4 and the lighted visor and the sunroof. And actually, the sunroof wasn't a bad idea because, like I said, it didn't have AC. Tinted the windows and we had put a little system in it. And thing was awesome, right? I had that thing through like my whole senior year. And I went everywhere with it. It was, we go to Jersey all the time, whatever, skip class, go down to, drove to Staten Island to pick up my buddy Mark's 71, 72 Bug. Like, this thing was great. It was the most reliable thing ever. And then I joined the Navy and, left for boot camp. And that's where you see it was sitting, there's a better picture where you can see everything. It was sitting there while I was gone. And then I was in school in Tennessee. I went to A school to be an airframer. And my dad said, "Hey, let me know when you can have your truck." And he drove it down there for me. And it was awesome, guys. Flawlessly drove down there. No problems at all. Me and him, we hit Graceland. We just hung out and everything. It was really cool because other than for an hour and a half after graduation, I really hadn't seen any of my family in like 4 months. So it's pretty cool. Great memories. And I'm a huge Elvis fan. So you could probably tell looking around down here. But it was just awesome. I might have got in trouble about a week later, and I wasn't allowed to have a vehicle on base. That was the whole thing, but that's for another story too. I drove it home from Tennessee, from Memphis, which is actually almost in like Arkansas, right? It's like 3 exits away. And through a snowstorm, I mean, crazy, but no problems. It was a wild storm. It was, we had like 1.5 to 2 feet, and I'm on the highway just. I made it all the way to Strasburg, Pennsylvania, from Memphis, Tennessee, all right, with no issues. I go to get off and actually I was in the left lane, which I hadn't plowed yet, and it was me and another truck we were actually talking on the CB, because all the trucks, were in the right lane that was plowed. And I come up on the Strasburg exit, and I'm like, "Later, dude, I'm getting off," and I probably should have been in 4-wheel drive, or at least slowed down. I hit that exit ramp, and I just was able to rip it in 4-wheel drive and straighten it out and not hit anything. And that guy's yelling at CB, "Oh, you good over there?" Yeah, all right. Go all the way home. We lived way up in the mountains at this point. We had moved further away because we weren't far enough away before. That's, But we end up, I'm coming up this big mountain. A plow's coming down, like the big plows with the dump truck on the back and everything, and I'm trying to get over. I catch a rut, boom, in the ditch. Messed up the rear quarter a little bit. Not bad. I was in 2-wheel drive again. I probably should have stayed in 4, but pulled in 4-wheel drive right out of there, take it home. I'm upset. I tell my mom what happened. My dad wasn't home yet. But it was cool, right? Well, then I had gone out a couple times and started missing. Then it didn't want to start at all. I ended up putting plugs in it. That fixed that problem. I was driving and like the rear hatch just popped open, so I had like a bungee cord holding that down before I could figure. Because it was just terrible weather. I wasn't trying to work on this thing, and we had a little really small 1-car garage. You really couldn't do anything in there. But then I was driving. I went to like look in the passenger side mirror to pass. It's gone. It's not like this thing's literally falling apart. So I said, well, I talked to my old man. I said, Dad, I don't know about this, because I was going out to San Diego. I said, I don't know if I'm gonna drive this in California. This is probably a bad idea. Man, you know, he told me about some cars they recently traded in. One of them was an 85 BMW 535E. It was loaded up like a maroon with a tan interior, 5-speed moonroof, like all the options. But that's also a story for another time. So keep tuning in. You'll figure out what happened next, but you got to come back to do it. So hope you guys enjoyed this Monday morning memory, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.